If you ever find yourself out in the forest of the Black Shroud and you come across a very old man with some gigantic beard, you might want to consider which life choices led you to this point. Then you should hastily and quietly retreat as quickly as you can, as you are standing in the homelands of the Sylphs, and that big man is the primal Ramuh. Earlier in our journey, we talked a bit about the primals when we encountered Ifrit, so we know a primal is a being called forth by a tribe by using crystals and worship, and they take the shape of a mythical being known to that particular tribe's culture. While we don't know too much about the Sylph's legend of Ramuh, we know his temperament is quite different from the other primals we face. The thing is, a primal's temperament is colored by the summoner's state of mind. For example, Ifrit was summoned with a desire to destroy Ulda and the human who were invading the Amalja Holy Land. And being a species heavily focused on warlike behavior, it is perhaps no surprise that the primal they would summon would be the same. But the Sylphs are a peaceful bunch, preferring to remain undisturbed and play little pranks on those who become their friends. It was during the invasion of Garlemald into the Black Shroud, just on the verge of the calamity, that they summoned the primal. Now put yourself in their shoes. Armored evil men have invaded your forest home with the intent to kill you, and on top of that, there is a moon falling from the sky, signaling the end of the world. It is probably no surprise that one would become a little bit desperate, and desperation tends to lead to summoning. But not every Sylph took part in the summoning. Those who did not wish to summon the primal followed Elder FFXIV to form a new home just outside of the Sylph homeland, and gave it the name Little Solace. Those who did summon Ramuh were tempered by the primal. They are actually easily recognizable, as they've taken on a violet hue, making them quite visually distinct from the Little Solace counterpart. And while the tempered ones are immediately hostile to outsiders that enter the homeland of the Sylphs, they have no interest in expanding their territory or capturing other residents of the forest, except the Sylphs of Little Solace. You see, a tempered being believes being tempered is good. This is the ideal way of living, and they only want to make the Sylphs of Little Solace happy, just like them. It is a twisted sort of kindness born from the tempering, making them quite dangerous to their own kind, but harmless to us. The Scions of the Seven Dawn are being asked to look into the Sylphs right now, simply because nobody is sure if they plan to summon Ramuh or not. The Sylphs of Little Solace have for a long time held a good relationship with Gridania, especially through Elder FFXIV. So instead of spying on them, Gridania has figured it would be best to just ask. And as the Scions of the Seven Dawn are experts on primals, we are asked to go. It is decided that Ida and Papalimo will go, as they are the Scions who have for the longest watched over the 12th Wood. Well, we will also go with them, as we possess the Echo, which allows us to more easily communicate. But before we go meet the Sylphs, we gotta prepare. So we go and try to learn about them. We ask around the Adder's Nest and the Hawthorn Hut. The hut is located near the Sylphland and Little Solace, leading to the residents there having more contact with Sylphs than most. First of all, the Sylphs are a little bit odd and mischievous. They enjoy pranking both their kind and other residents of the forest. Their etiquette is also quite different from our own. The most prominent example being that Sylphs do not refer to people by name. Instead, to choose this one or that one, the annoying one or the dancing one, and the title you're given can change from Sylph to Sylph or even moment to moment. And finally, they do not like to shake hands or bow as a greeting, but instead prefer to dance. We also learn that these guys like something called milkroot. It apparently makes them drunk. And when you want to make a friend, why not bring them something they really like? We find our way to Little Solace, where we meet up with a Sylph named Komuxi. We dance for them and offer milkroot, making Komuxi happy to receive us as friends. Though that does change as soon as Papalimo and Ida approach and ask about the Elder. Komuxi becomes nervous, bordering on hostile, asking us to leave and claiming the Elder One does not want to speak to us. We are very confused, as Elder FFXIV has always welcomed Gridanian envoys. So together we decide we need to figure out what's going on. The plan is simple. We need to become friends with the Sylphs. So this includes dancing and running a variety of small errands for the sylphs in the area. Though, make note, we do this as Papalimo seems content to observe. Anita claims to have a sudden leg cramp, one that magically gets better after the chores are done. As Komuxio observes us helping others, they do decide to ask us for help themselves. They tell us there are Garleans in the forest. They are moving big boxes around, though the sylphs don't know why or what is in the boxes, so we are asked to investigate. We head out to spy on the Garleans and learn they're gathering rocks and food from the sylphic homeland. It's peculiar, and also could end in a disaster if the tempered sylphs get too distressed. We do return to Komuxio, informing them about the Garlean activity, and this is where we learn the village actually has a missing sylph. This one is named Klaxio and has left the village, and no one knows exactly why. We are therefore asked to find them and try to bring them back. We of course head out to search, finding Klaxio, who just runs away ever deeper into the homeland of the sylphs. Eventually we find them circled by tempered sylphs, who wish to bring Klaxio into the fold, making them tempered. Klaxio though is not very keen, and neither are we, and thankfully we're not alone, as Ida and Papalimo come to our aid. Together we take down these tempered sylphs, saving Klaxio and helping bring them back to the village. And on the way we learn why Klaxio left, after seeing the tempered sylphs change. Klaxio got nervous, especially now that the sylphs or little soulless are working more with humans. They got afraid that maybe the humans might change the sylphs, or maybe the sylphs would somehow change, or maybe the humans would be bad. But now they see that not all humans are bad and are ready to return home. And with that sorted, we head back, and finally Komuxio is willing to talk with us. And with that sorted, we head back to the village, and finally Komuxio is willing to let us talk to the elder. Except the elder isn't in the village. The elder hasn't been in the village ever since we arrived. Apparently they went to the forest yesterday, but haven't come back. And the elder has never been gone this long before. So Komuxio asks us to look for the elder and bring them back to the village. We agree to help, and our first step is to head into Gridania and inform the others that the elder sylph is missing. With this, every guard inside and outside the city will have their eyes open for a sylph. And then we're advised to go speak to a man named Buscaron. He owns an inn in the forest, where everyone is welcome, be it a guard or a bandit. As long as they behave, they are welcome at Buscaron's, and if anyone has seen a sylph in an odd place, it will surely become the talk of the inn. Buscaron does agree to help us, and in turn asks us to run a few errands for him. These errands involve dousing some rowdy customers with water, and going on a rather lengthy journey to return an earring to one of his Kikiran friends. We even help the friend brew some alcohol and bring it back to Buscaron, who promises to store it for a year so it will reach the best taste, and then invite us over to try it. But luckily, while we were away, there were some news. A sylph has been spotted in the woods near the inn, a place where the sylphs generally don't go at all, as this is quite far away from the sylphic homeland. We explore these areas and find no sylph, but we do find Garleans, and Garleans here. That's not right. While seeing Garleans around the sylph homeland is not good, that area is still quite close to the border to Girabania. And Girabania is under the rule of Garleans, making it easier for them to get to that area. But here, we are so far into Gridania-owned land that the God's Quiver should have spotted them by now. The God's Quivers are the guards of Gridania who specialize in spotting and dealing with outsiders. And it should be absolutely impossible for a sizable group of Garleans to get this far into the forest, unless somebody is helping them. We head back to Buscaron's and tell him what we saw. He agrees with us that it definitely looks like somebody has betrayed Gridania. And as he ponders this, he does mention that one of his clients has changed lately. This is a regular Buscaron, a wood whaler, one of the guards who guard the city and the surrounding area. An honorable job, but not always well paid. Now this fella, named Laurentius, has certainly completely changed the way he shops. He is suddenly requesting the finest cuts of meat and the fanciest drink Buscaron can offer. meaning he has gotten into a coin recently, and Buscaron theorizes that that coin was Garlean. Buscaron sends us to find the man, confront him, and, if need be, end him. We head out and do find Laurentius, who is just conveniently monologuing his crimes to himself. When he does notice us, he shouts out for help, and Garleans swarm around us, but we take them down, and give chase after Laurent, who runs away. But Laurentius is no fool, as he leads us into an ambush. And while things look quite bad there, we are actually lucky, as some of the more shady residents of the forest and customers of Buscaron know we are helping Buscaron and are therefore here to help us. We take down the Garleans, and as Laurentius realizes he has been beaten, he suddenly has a full change of heart. He sees the error of his ways and promises to return to the adders and confess all his crimes. And we just let him do that. Now, he will do it. He will head to Gridania and he will tell the adders what he did and deal with his crimes. But as a player, this felt really odd. Because personally, if I had committed a treason and then was offered to go unsupervised to turn myself in, I would have hoofed it across the Girabania border. But Laurentius goes, faces his crime, and we head to Buscaron, telling him what transpired. And he tells us the Sylph Elder has been found. Well, sort of found. Abelimo and Ida are there to receive the news as well. And it turns out that the Elder was spotted near the Thousand Maws of Todrag, an old Gridanian dungeon. And just as we're about to head out there to check, a sylph flutters into the inn. This is Noraxia, who was with the Elder when the pair was sighted by Garleans. And to protect Noraxia, the Elder had the Garleans chase them and fled into the dungeon. This is a dungeon full of hostile critters, so we end up rushing over there to search for the Elder within. So, as we step into this dark and dank place, let me tell you about it. This dungeon was originally built on the site of a natural cave system beneath a silent arbor, and for many years it was used as a prison for Gridania, holding anyone from arsonists to butchers. But this wasn't quite the most pleasant place to be, and when the new jail was built, every prisoner was moved there, and the Thousand Maws was abandoned. As we enter the place, we quickly learn we are not the first to come here, as we encounter several water-stained notes left by a previous expedition, led by First Spear Idel, who went in to check the status of the fauna of the dungeon. Dangerous fauna encountered upon entering the cave. Cooling as permission parameters, expect to encounter more as we press deeper. Engaged with sizable fiend, succeeded in exterminating, but casualties mounting. Must consider turning back if situation worsens. Diorite infestation confirmed, scores of eggs on verge of hatching, beyond our means to deal with. Aborting vision. Subsequent parties beware. These notes confirm the name of the creatures we keep on encountering down here. Diormites. And indeed, their eggs are absolutely everywhere. And while First Spear Idel and their party could retreat, we cannot, as we must go even deeper in search of the Elder. And as we enter the final chamber, we realize we're not alone. We are in fact faced with an Asian. And this time, he gives us his name.
Darkness.
Elko hitra buglo hans. Seastagon Rajadorn. Thagon well rogue. Tosan no paiki. Mayhap I might if I deign to speak in my guest crude tongue. We meet at last. I am Brea of the Scions, servant to the one true God. Yours is a most fantastical tale, truly absorbing. It is a tale to tell Eorzea's children before bedtime, and it will soon be dark, bringer of light.
The Dark Minions.
All that stands between this world and darkness is an irksome anomaly in the ether. The Echo. Yes, yours is a most fascinating tale. Alas, like all good tales, it must needs come to an end. But fear not.
Here, feel the presence of evil.
For the end of your tale is but the beginning of another. The tale of the crystal's demise.
Brea leaves us behind with a twisted monstrosity of dire might. It takes all our strength to beat it, but in the end it is gone, and from the ceiling falls a cocoon, and out pops the oldest sylph we have ever seen. It seems we have found Elder Frixio. As we meet Frixio, we get a vision through the echo from when the Garleans came through the forest and attacked some sylphs in the attempt to summon a primal. And with them was Nero, the red-armored Garlean we have seen before, measuring the strength of primals. Frixio is a little bit concerned about our well-being as we come out of the vision, as most tend to be when they see us use the echo, but promises to happily tell us all about Ramuh back at Little Solace. So together we hurry out and head to the small sylphic village, where Frixio can finally reunite with their people. And now finally, we can settle down and talk about the thing we came to discuss in the first place. Do the sylphs intend to summon Ramuh? Frixio says they do not plan to do so, though the tempered ones might if pushed too far. But at this moment, tempered ones are harmless as long as outsiders stay away from their homeland. Their only wish is to live there in peace, so if no one is invading their home, they are not going to try to harm the people of Gridania or anyone else. But to confirm this, Frixio advises us to go watch the tempered sylphs just in case. So we do, observing them going about their business and concluding they truly are harmless. The only ones in danger from these tempered sylphs are the ones of Little Solace. So all is good. Or at least not something we need to worry about at this minute. We take this news back to the Twin Adders and the Scions, confirming that for now we don't have to worry about the Ramuh or the sylphs. But we might really want to start worrying about this Brea guy. As we're telling Minfilia the news, Tataru suddenly screams. Everyone quickly rushes to protect our tiny receptionist, only to find her faced with a sylph. It turns out Noraxia, the sylph we met at Buscarons, has decided they want to help us. They want to join the Scions of the Seven Dawn, and, well, we are low on members, and you never know what a good sylph could do. So why not? And that is how this part of our story ends. We confirmed Ramuh is not going to be a problem for now. We have saved the sylph elder. We have learned the name of Brea, and most unexpectedly, we have added a sylph to the Scions of the Seven Dawn. Who knows what good Noraxia might do in the future? Though, that is a story for another time. For now, thank you so much for watching. Please do the good YouTube stuff and check out another video of mine. And whatever you do, have a lovely day.